Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Salesforce.com Intermediate Training. My name is Patty Lamond, and I am your Salesforce.com administrator. If you joined our basic training, this is going to be a little bit more advanced, but it's okay if you're here, if you're a beginner. Hopefully you'll learn a lot. Today I'm going to start by covering views, and I'll give it just a little bit more time. We have a good amount of people already on, but I still see people coming. Just a little bit more. Okay, I think we'll get started. Throughout Salesforce.com, any tab you see up here is usually considered a Salesforce.com object. I'm going to teach you how to create a view, and I'm also going to teach you how to create a basic report that hopefully you'll be able to take this knowledge and create your own views that help you the best. I'm going to go to my Accounts tab. And as you can see here, we have a list of already created views that we've already created for you. Feel free to use them. But I'm going to teach you how to create a new one. If you look at this link that says Create New View, you click on it. And there are 3 steps to creating views. You name it in step 1. You put filter criteria in step 2. And you choose your fields in step 3. So let's go to step 1, and we'll call this one available credit. And I'm going to date it only because I've created a couple of these this week, and I just want to know which one I need to go back to. For now, we won't put any filters on, but all accounts and my accounts for a rep is pretty much the same thing because all of your accounts are all your accounts, whereas an area manager or above would see, for them all accounts means all of their reps' accounts on up. But for now, we're not going to put any filters on here. Salesforce will always assume a set of fields for you, and this is where it shows you, they're going to give you the account name, the billing state, etc. Well, I don't need the billing state. I don't need the phone, and I don't need the owner alias. And by the way, the owner alias is the first letter of your first name and the first 4 of your last name, in case anybody was wondering. These are all the fields available. Not everything is populated, but for the most part, everything, a lot of these are. So we're going to pick credit limit, and if you type a C, it will take you through all the C's in this list. And there's credit limit. Let's select it. Click the Add button. Available credit. And this takes the difference between total credit limit and total AR balance. Oops, I think I passed it. Let's bring in the total AR balance. And again, I'm typing a T to get there. And click Add. Let's bring in the customer ID. That is our sold to number in SAP. And I'd like to move this up. These keys here on the right are how you move things up. I can go all the way to the top and then maybe bring it down one. Let's bring in current year sales and prior year sales. prior year to date, so we know where we are exactly at this time. And I'll move that up. For now, I'm going to click Save. As you can see, all the fields that we chose are on this view now. It tells you how many records came back. This is 1 of 2,000. I mean 1 to 100 of 2,000. You'll notice here the little arrow is pointing up on account name. That means it's sorted ascending. But you can click any of the column headings. The first time sorts it ascending, and the second time sorts it descending. Here are all your 9s. You can click next through all of these fields or pages. Okay. In this case, I want to see who has the most available credit of my customers, so I know who has the most money to spend. I'm clicking the second time for descending. And here you'll see the credit limit and the available. They have no balance, which is good. Say I only wanted to see anything over 5,000 credit limit, or let's say available credit. I'm going to go into this link and click Edit. The filters are the name of the field, then the operator, and then what you want it to be greater or less than or equal to. It depends on what you're building. But again, this is the most basic of views. You can do whatever you need to do with them. So I'm going to find available credit. And I'm going to say greater or equal to 5,000. I'm going to click Save. Now you're only going to see anything that's above 5,000. Just a minute, please. Thank you for your patience. Someone was telling me that they couldn't hear me, so I just wanted to make sure that you could. Thank you. Now you'll only see accounts where the available credit is greater than 5,000. Let's go back to the first page because you're not seeing the 5,000. So this is actually your smallest available. There's nothing below 5,000 because we've put the filter in there. In the event that you wanted to see, we're going to click Edit again. In the event that you wanted to see, and this is just for a different type of report, but I just want to show you the functionality. Zip equals, and we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but I also want to see a second zip. I'm going to separate it by commas, and I'm going to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and this will bring up both zips. I don't think there are zips called that, so we'll just leave it alone for now. I just wanted to show you that if you want multiple values, you can separate them by commas. There is a limit, but you can always use a second line. That's a little more advanced. I don't think we'll go into it, but feel free to ask us via sfadmin@hcsupply.com for the more advanced stuff. So views are one way to get your data. It's just for the quick, down and dirty data that you want to see. But the really powerful tool in Salesforce.com are the reports. So I'm going to click on my Reports tab. This is the list of all the reports available to you. These are the reports that you have recently viewed. But I want to set this to all items, and I want to look for all the basic reports. So HD Supply Account Reports folder holds a set of reports, and as you can see, there are 24 basic reports that we have built for you. These all include product penetration, dollars, accounts on hold, your activities today, all accounts, etc., credit limit, invoices, new accounts. If you were wondering what accounts were added this week and last week, I believe this is set for last week and this week. As you can see, here's the filter. This will tell you how it's set up. I apologize for my voice. I was at the Charger game last night and the ref made some very bad calls, so I voiced my opinion. Sorry about that. Now let's click the Reports tab again. And say you liked the negative trend report. Actually, let me go back to the HD Supply Account Reports folder. And anytime you want to go back, you just click the tab again. I'd like to get people used to going there, at least for a good starting point. Say you like the All Accounts report, but it's missing a field that you know you want in there. Maybe you'd like to see the available credit on this. You hit the Customize button. And let's add the available credit. As you can see, I typed the beginning of the field, and it brought up anything that matched. If I just wanted to see all credit fields, I would type credit, and you'll see everything that's available. But for now, I just want to bring this in. Now from here, you can either double-click or drag it. Let's put it right before sales. And that's probably good enough for now. You could also hold the Control key and it'll select multiple fields, and then you can drag. And like I said, double click will also work. Now this is going to be your report, so you want to do a Save As. Click the Save As button. And you're going to save it in My Personal Custom Reports. And now you'll see the field is there. Okay, that's for modifying existing reports. The next thing I'm going to show you is how to create a very basic report. So again, to refresh the tab, you just click it again. On this page, you're going to see this button. It's called New Report. click it. And I'm going to pick Account Reports. So you have all these options. Feel free to get as creative as you'd like. For now, I'm just going with a basic accounts report. And I'm going to click Create. This looks very similar to where we were modifying the last report. But now this is a brand new slate. It's for you to do whatever you want. Again, Salesforce will assume some fields, but those aren't the ones we want. So we're going to click All Accounts. And this created date means the date that the account was created in Salesforce. You don't want to limit yourself to just anything created after November 4th. So I'm going to click All Time on the range, and it's going to give me everything that I have. Again, I'm going to take off the fields I don't like. All I have to do is drag and drop. And I'm going to bring in, this time we'll bring in all the sales fields. And if you're familiar with what the field names are, it's a lot easier for pulling them in. So we're going to bring in current year, year to date, and the variance, prior year, year to date sales. But let's put it in here in between the type and the variance. And I don't like where the variance is because it doesn't flow. And this is actually prior year, in my opinion, should come before current year. So there it is. And here's the difference. Don't get too concerned with what you see in the preview pane. This is just sample data to show you what you're building. Maybe we want to bring in the priority on this. And that's your 1 through 5 priority. I think I'll put it here. And it didn't come over, so let me try this again. There it goes. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's just go with that for now. Let's save it. And you can either save or save and run. And there's your report. It would be nice to see this one by priority. So let's go ahead and hit the Customize button here. That's how you make edits. All of these fields, as you scroll over or mouse over them, you'll see the arrow, drop-down arrow shows up. I want to group by this field. And let's group by this one also, just for the sake of exercise. Okay. The other thing I would like to see are subtotals for each of these now grouped fields. So as soon as this arrow drops down, you can see where you have the option to summarize this field. When you get really good, you can start using averages, mins, and maxes, but for now we're just going to do sum. Now you see that it came up on that row. We're going to do the same here. And here. So now all of your summaries have totals on them. I like the report, so let's click Save and Run. And there's your report. If you don't want to see this detail and just want to see the summaries, hit Hide Details. And you see how now by priority, a lot of these are closed accounts, that's why you didn't see a priority on some of them. But now for like priority 2, these are your totals for these. And by comp type. Let's show details again. And the neat thing, one of the most powerful things about reporting, that you can actually, as you get more advanced, you can create formulas, you can create graphs. They could later go on dashboards. So reporting is a very, very powerful tool. Say you wanted to export this report. There's 2 ways of exporting it. One is printable view, and it gives you these blue summarized sections. As you can see, it kind of gives you a header here. It gives you the name of the report, who was created by the date, and any filters that would be here. And it gives it to you in pretty much the format you saw in Salesforce. Okay. It also has a confidentiality agreement at the bottom. That's one way to export it, but if you want to do some true number crunching, you want to use the export details. You want it in Excel, and you click export. Pretty much the same thing pops up, but now the report will be flatter and easier to work with as far as any kind of analysis you want to do on it. See, no more headers. And any of your fields that you had summarized end up at the end. I usually just take them and cut them and insert them at the beginning. But here's your report. You can do pretty much anything you want. Okay. One of the tricks or tips here is that this is, even though it looks just like an Excel report, it's really a web page. So what you want to do is save as. And if you'll notice here how it says web page, you want to change that to Excel workbook and remove these quotes. And that's, once it's in Excel and you name it, click Save. And that report is now outside of Salesforce, that you can do anything you want with it. At this time, I'm going to click Done. That'll take me back to the report. But at this time, I'm going to take questions. One of the questions here is there an accounts removed report? Unfortunately, in Salesforce.com, there isn't, because once it's gone, you no longer have visibility to it. Salesforce is a very secure system. If you have no if you are no longer tied to that account, that will be, you can't see it. After a view is created, is there a way to make it bigger so that you may see more of the created report without having to scroll back and forth? This is part of the reason that I mentioned that it's a little, the views are more for just quick info. They're not your best for actually analyzing data. But once you create a report, all you have to do is run the report, and then you can pretty much see everything that you ran. So export details is where you turn a report into an Excel file. Either that printable view is just not as manageable as the export details, but yes, that is where you do it. Either the printable view or the export details button. When you save as, where does the report go? Is it on the Accounts tab? No. When you save as, it will usually, you have some account folders that you have access to, but the one that you would more than likely save to is your My Personal folder. So I'll show you that. As soon as you hit Save As, whether you're in here or in the Report Builder, see how the drop down here says My Personal Custom Reports? That's where you want to save your report. You name it. You can even put a description to help you locate it again. So when you go to the Reports tab, and you see the recently viewed here, your report will show up there. And it'll be there pretty much anytime you go, because that's the one you use the most, or any of your more used reports will be on this recently viewed section. So Reports tab. How often is the Salesforce data refreshed? Good question. There's a couple different components that are refreshed at different times. So customer master data is updated daily, sales are updated daily, invoices, credit, all that is daily. Account ownership is done weekly. Account ads are done weekly. So hopefully that answers your question. Any questions that I don't fully answer, please feel free to either ask again, rephrase it, or I will answer, or we will answer them through SF Admin. Can you export a report into a graph or chart? Is this in SF, or do you export into Excel and create the graph? You can actually create graphs within Salesforce.com, but if you want to do it in Excel outside, yes, you would have to export and then create the graph there. Great questions. How far back can invoice detail be looked at? Invoice detail currently is about 5 months worth. We are having some storage issues, but we're working to resolve them because the data doesn't have to be stored on Salesforce.com. It can be stored outside and then just a view to it here. But this is something we're working on. But for now, you have 5 months or so. It might be 6. When you export to Excel, if you copy, this is a tip from Jeff Ferreira. If you copy and paste your report into another Excel workbook, it will show all the rows and columns. That helps when reading the report. Most definitely. Thank you, Jeff. And someone is asking if these sessions will be on the Learning Center. Well, we hadn't planned on putting them on the Learning Center. We were going to put them in the SF Tips or in Sales Training. But we can definitely look at putting them there. I think that's all the questions for now, so I'll go ahead and continue. In basic training, we covered, or Amy covered opportunities, but I'll go into a little more detail, or I'll just mention it again because As a company, we are going in that direction of wanting to see what's coming down in the future, and that helps for even stocking and many different things. So all opportunities view, there's a couple different views available to you, but again, you can create anything you want. The Holly Golightly account is currently holding any closed accounts. That's why you see it. Well, that's the close date on the opportunity, but these are just closed accounts. Okay. So here you can see it by amount. Obviously, the higher dollars at the top, that's the most interesting one. But to create a new opportunity, you can either create it straight from the tab, the original screen you go to, by clicking New, or in that view you saw that there was a New Opportunity button. So you just click New. You name it, you associate it to an account, and a lot of these things are better done from the account to begin with, and then the related lists are all at the bottom. So you'll see opportunities and contacts and all that stuff at the bottom of the account. But you can do it from here too. It just takes a little bit longer to find the account. You close it, you put a stage in, you want to quote it or whatever. You check the box of what it's related to, straight MRO or renovation, or in any of these. You type a description. Be as descriptive as possible. Some of the things here that are very important is that these different stages will show on the opportunity, and when this is actually sold or lost, we need to have you close them. And there are a lot of very old opportunities out there right now that if you have any, please close. But if you either close one or close lost, with this description, we can get a really good picture of what we're doing right or what we're doing wrong. You know, how did we win this? Why did we lose that? Opportunities are going to give us a really clear picture from you all the way up to Anissa as to how we're doing. This will definitely take the temperature of our business. As you can see, once you create the opportunity, there are some options down here that you can fill out. Content deliveries is a very good feature that was recently released to the whole enterprise. And what you do here is that from here you can send create a file link. So you can either search for something that's existing in one of the libraries, you know, it's just up to you what you do. Or you can browse for something on your desktop. It could be anywhere at all, and the end user will still be able to open it, regardless of whether they have Excel or any of these viewers. So it's a really useful thing. Let's go ahead and select this file. And as you can see, you can expire this so that it can't be viewed past a certain point. It's related to the opportunity and it's related to that account. I'm going to click Save. And see this link here that just got created? That can be pasted into any email and sent to pretty much anyone. This feature is available on opportunities, and it is also available on the account. So you can send it to your contacts or anybody. So the reason the stages I'm going back to the opportunity here. The reason the stages are very important is that we can see where we are at all times, and we could run dashboards or reports on this information. If I go in there and change it from qualification, so I'm going to edit this and change it from qualification to proposal price quote and save. As you see here, this link to stage history, which is also the bottom of this opportunity, but this will take you directly there. Now there's 2 stages. Again, this helps us do analysis. And the more we know about the business, the better we're able to help you with tools in the field. This opportunity will have anybody who's attached to it. So if it's a NAM or an RSC or any of the business partners, they already have access to this opportunity, but there's really nothing to tell them that it's there unless they go look. So we're going to go ahead and we can add people here if they're not already a person on the account. And you can give them read only or read write. I'm going to click save. And see, now Amy Hughes has been brought into this. But again, there's still nothing letting anybody know that this is there unless they're going there to look. This is where it's useful to use the @ sign in chatter, and that goes for any chatter. Let's pretend Christina is the NAM on this, or even anybody else that you possibly need help on this. This @ will bring them in. If I wanted to bring anybody else in, you just click @ and as soon as you start typing their name, anybody who's actually attached to this account will start showing up, and you just pick them. So now by me mentioning Christina in this chatter post on this opportunity, she'll get an email letting her know that, hey, come and look at this. Then she'll be notified, then she can help. And it's real time, so as soon as you send it, it'll go. If you have an activity, log it. At this point, I'm going to take some questions. Some of these are just specific to the user, so I'm probably going to handle them offline. But have a good tip here from Robert Wolf. That it says, don't forget to mention that once the opportunity is created, you can attach a quote from your PC to the opportunity. This will let everyone in your chain be able to view the potential quote. Good point. And by that, Robert means down here in notes and attachments, you can attach a file, or again, you can attach content delivery at this point as content delivery, and you don't actually have to send it to anybody, but it could be there, and then it can be previewed. The other neat thing about content delivery is that it lets you know how many times it's been looked at. Take some more questions. The audio is very poor. I'm not getting too many complaints about that, but my voice is a little rough today. Hopefully that's not the reason. try and see if you can maybe adjust yours a little bit. What constitutes an opportunity amount? That would be, what is this? Say it's a renovation and you know that it's right around in the neighborhood of $10,000. That's the amount you would put in there. Can you add someone to an opportunity that is not a partner? You would have to share it with them first by clicking the sharing button, and then you can add them to the chatter part. But just adding them as a partner, yes, you can by just clicking that sharing button. Are opportunities automatically created by a renovation quote entered? Not currently. We are looking at different possibilities in the future, but for now, no. You would have to enter it. Is there a dollar amount threshold that justifies an opportunity? I would imagine there are some business rules around that. Whatever would be the most accurate for the job, I would imagine, is what you need to enter. Some of these questions may be more for your managers than they are for me. I do hear, I'm hearing a little bit about the audio, but there's not much I can do about it, and I apologize. Hopefully the recording, we are recording these, will come through a little clearer. And that's it for now on questions. The next thing I want to cover is a brand new feature in Salesforce that we added just about a month ago, and we've been piloting it. It's called the Competitive Intel tab. The business saw a need for grabbing this information pretty much as soon as we could get it, and you're out there in the field, you're seeing it before we see it, and it's better to know about it sooner rather than later. And what it does is you enter information, and it brings different people from merchandising or marketing together, all the way up to VPs, to let them know, hey, this is going on. This is used for big type of competitive intel, but there's also the group called competitive intel, which you can post like flyers or whatever you want. That's more on a local level, or the quick just information. But this competitive intel tab, what we'll do is click new. Here's some legal verbiage that please read. You associate this with the account that it applies to. This is the list of our biggest competitors, but if your competitor that you're seeing isn't coming up on this list, go ahead and click Other and then name it here. The record will not allow you to save if you've chosen Other and not put something in there, so please put something there. But for now, let's go with Fastenal. And this is product related. So by choosing that issue and that competitor, it will get triggered to the appropriate people within the company here to help us possibly get through this. You may not see a response, but they're getting the information. So hopefully it'll be something that can be acted on. Not everything can be acted on, but at least we'll know what's going on. If it has something to do with a specific podcat or merchant category, you just select it. So again, if right now it's going to the merchant directors, but we're actually looking to make this go to all the merchants. But if it's hardware related, it will be directed to that merchant. Here you can enter comments. Please be as descriptive as possible, because if these come through without any information or very little, there's not much we can do about them. If you have saved say a flyer or something very, very important on your computer, you can actually attach it back in by clicking this little picture button. You can attach links, etc., and make it as nice as possible. This does automatically go to your first manager, and again, there's a whole list of people. There's, I believe, 39 different triggers, so it will go to the appropriate people that might be able to do something about this. Please use this tool. Don't use it for things that don't have to do with competitive intel. Again, you can use the chatter group more for that, but please use this tool. We definitely want to know what's going on out there. I'm not going to say that because I don't want to trigger something that isn't true. So this is pretty much all I have as far as training. I do want to mention that I know some of you have asked for views regarding the account, the calendar. Again, it just like in the Accounts tab, you can create views. You can also do it on the calendar. For that, you have to go to the calendar section, and usually that's accessible through the home page. It's either on the left-hand side here. There's the shortcut to the calendar, or down on this bottom or lower right-hand side, these buttons here. If you click the one with the little line items, that's your activity list view. Again, there's a set of views already created for you, but you can create your own. Same principles apply as all the other objects in Salesforce. You name it. You filter it if you want. I do recommend putting filters on them because activities are it's a very, very large data set. And you might be waiting for a long time if you pull the world. And the fields you want to see. The activity question mark is the one that tells whether you've actually visited the property because you've checked a box or entered a note. That triggers the yes or no, and the same thing that your managers are seeing when they run the call completion report. That call completion report has the number of activities you scheduled for the last week and the percentage of completion for it. And I'm going to take some more questions here, and hopefully we'll wrap up. If they are on the small HD purchase computers, it will be bad. Not sure what you mean, Jimmy. If you could rephrase that a little bit, what would be bad? And I'm assuming that competitive intel, yes, well, it does go all the way up the line. So again, be careful what you're writing. Oh, okay. From what I understand, if you're on the little netbooks, that may be an issue, but on the sound. But if you play with your volume controls, maybe it'll help you. I don't see too many more questions. Well, there's another one. Is the link between SF and Outlook operational? It is. You have to download the plugin for that. And if you have, you'll see a little icon in your tray. Right now mine is dark because it's not attached to Outlook because I closed Outlook. But once it's open, this automatically, I don't know if you can see it, I'm down here on the right. It's a little red button and it tells me that it's syncing to Salesforce. For those of you who look, somebody gave me a tip on the volume. Robert Wolf is saying function and F2 at the same time will turn up the volume on the netbooks. I know we're almost wrapping up, so I'm not sure how much good it does right now, but maybe for future. We will be answering questions throughout, the ones we received throughout the week. We'll be posting on SF Tips. And we are hoping to have this, we have recorded all of these. We're hoping they're going to be available. We haven't quite tested them yet, but hopefully they'll be working just fine. Any more questions? Thanks. Something else I can cover? Not something that takes a long time, but if there's something else I can cover. Can you go over a tool that identifies accounts that do not have a recurring event? Yes, definitely. In the account reports, in this HC Supply reports folder, so we're going to go back to the tab. I actually mentioned this all week, and I almost forgot to mention it this time. Thanks for reminding me, Franco. I'm going to look for that folder again, HD Supply account, and as soon as I start typing, it comes up. I'm going to choose the folder, and I don't see it right there, so I'm going to go ahead and change this to all items. Salesforce.com allows you to schedule 50 events out. Now, some people are only scheduling out about a quarter out. It's a matter of preference, or if your manager has given you a different direction on this, but you 50 events out. So if you think about that, that's about a year's worth. If you're seeing somebody weekly, 2 years for every 2 weeks, etc., etc. So if you're worried that you all of a sudden, oh no, something fell off the calendar, this neglected accounts report, it's a really good idea if you run this one often. Click it. And as you can see, there's a lot of filters on this one. What it does is it gives you all the accounts that have fallen off the calendar. So what triggers something on the calendar is that last, I don't know if you've seen it, the last activity date, but it's also, I created a formula that looks at if there's a last activity date, and if there isn't, it's going to say scheduled no right here on the account detail. And that's what that report runs off of, is the scheduled no. So as you can see here at the top, it says no open activities. But as soon as, if I were to create one, I'll go ahead and create one just for the sake of this training. This is going to be a recurring, so I'm not going to put anything except that this is fine. I'll just say I just want to see them for 15 minutes. And I only need to see them. Don't put anything in here because it'll go throughout your whole series. And then click the recurring series of events. I'm going to go weekly, and I'm going to go every 2 weeks. Calculate max end date. That's what will give you the 50 events out. But I think I'll only go about a year out. And like I said, some people are doing this quarterly so that they have a better handle on their account. So now I'm going to save this. And once I save it, remember before we didn't have any open activities. Now it says yes. And as soon as these links come up, now you'll see that I have open activities. And I could go directly to that section from here. And there they are. So that, again, that neglected accounts report, run it often so that you know if anything has fallen off or is getting close to falling off. I'm going to see if there are any more questions. I do see some. Quite a few. Somebody wants to know how to go turn off their chatter emails. And I will cover that really quickly. And I'll also tell you where the instruction video is on that. If you go to the sales training group, so if I'm doing a search here on sales training, anything that matches will pop up here on the left. And here it is. Well, I'm looking for groups, so I'm going to click on the groups. And this is the one I'm looking for, sales training. And I've posted all these links here. Searching chatter results, chatter basics, and how to change my chatter email settings. You could have typed that, chatter email settings, you would have had that come up also. But what you do to change that is go to your groups. It looks like this has slightly changed. Well, there's another way to go to it. Let me go to Setup from your name at the upper right, and My Chatter Settings, and Chatter Email Settings. Here you can choose not to receive any at all. I don't recommend it, but that is one place to make them all go away. You can choose here whether you want updates on all these things. You can set the frequency, and this is where you change it on groups. I strongly suggest that you leave the email on each post for HD Supply All, because that is the group that we use to communicate very important things that we need to get out as soon as possible. For instance, when I've updated the goals, I use that group. When something big happens, like when we had our power outage out here, we use that group. I would suggest leaving that one on all times. These you can choose to do daily or never, and then you just click Save. I'm probably not going to get to all the questions because it seems like a few came in now. Okay, I'm getting some questions that have to do with possibly with BlackBerry connectivity. Please feel free to email sfadmin on those. There's nothing I can do about right now. Here's a good one. When adding conference calls as a new event, my manager can't view when pulling a completion report. Is there another way? Actually, that completion report is probably not pulling in all tasks and events that have. See, what it is that this more than likely isn't attached to an account, and a lot of the reports that are being run have to have an account on it. I'm not quite sure, but the report probably has to be tweaked. It's not so much that you're not doing it, it's that the report needs to be correct. Feel free to email sfadmin And please use the SF admin rather than contacting us directly. It helps us keep track of the questions. And also don't forget to use the Ask a Question feature, because it already has some answers there, or it also sends an email or to us so that we can deal with it. And with that, it's 11 o'clock. You guys had great questions, and hopefully this training was helpful. Again, we will be posting the answers to all the questions in the SF Tips chatter group. Thank you.